Live from the Norwegian Dawn, it is day 1. We're getting on a ship today. Sue, it's our return to the Norwegian Dawn. It's a ship that introduced us to Norwegian Cruise Line back in 2010.
And you know what? When I first presented that first cruise to you, were you a cruise? You weren't really a cruise lover then, were you? When I came to you with that fantastic deal.
I wanted to get back on. I was reluctant. We got on the ship with 3 days notice back in 2010, and we fell in love with it. We're excited. We're coming back to the Dawn. Just went through dry dock as part of the Norwegian Edge. Is that what it's called?
You tell me.
So we're going to have fun with it this time. In addition to the live review, I hate the term review. This isn't a review. I don't do a live review. I do a live, what's it called?
It's a vlog.
No, not this. I'm talking about it's a live experience. Whatever it is. I want to go out and have fun on the ship, and it's fun when you guys come along. So it's not a review. I'm not going to review this cruise line. I'll give feedback along the way. Regardless, we are checking out of the Omni Royal Orleans today, going down to the port of New Orleans, which is just outside the French Quarter. It is, if the maps are oriented correctly, it is southwest. What's bizarre, when you leave on the Mississippi, you actually go north on the Mississippi, and then it does there's this strange little square that it does around the French Quarter. But it's fascinating.
It should be pretty scenic, though, shouldn't it?
We are so accustomed to going out of Manhattan or Miami.
Which is very scenic.
Part of the draw for this cruise was going out of New Orleans. It was an excuse to go down to New Orleans for a couple of days and then to have a different experience leaving port. Mm-hmm. But interesting enough, we were so psyched with our room, 11612. We had these wonderful graphics set up about how close our room is to each of these bars. It was right off the central elevators. And then 2 days ago, Friday, as soon as we touched down in Atlanta for our layover from Rochester, we called the upsell department. Guess what? We're no longer at 11612. We upgraded to our first suite experience on Norwegian. We're now in a family suite in the forward section of deck 12, which is the funny part. That was our first experience on the Dawn, was sitting in the Spinnaker Lounge, which I think is now where these rooms are. It's the old Spinnaker Lounge. Was
really?
I have a picture that I won't share because it would embarrass you of you wearing glasses and sitting in the Spinnaker Lounge with your first drink.
You can never show that picture. That's an awful picture.
So when we board today, a few things we have to do. We have we arranged the Cruise Critic meet and greet. So tomorrow at Le Bistro at 11 o'clock is the meet and greet, but today we have to deliver invitations. I think I have maybe a dozen invitations of people that sent me their room number, and we have to go around the ship and drop them off in the mailbox. We got to do that before sail away at 4 o'clock. What else do we have going on?
I think that we're just re-exploring the ship, right? Kind of getting acquainted with the new layout.
Yep. Dinner tonight, we are at Moderno. It's a restaurant we've never been to before.
Mm-hmm. What's it called?
I just said
The style of dining.
Do you remember? It's a Brazilian steakhouse.
AKA churrascaria.
Yeah, I'm not going to be pronouncing that because she would correct me each time.
Churrascaria.
So why have we never been here before?
You don't like the Brazilian steakhouse concept, which the first time I ever went to a Brazilian steakhouse, I went to something called Texas de Brazil, and it was magnificent, and I thought that you would really enjoy it. And you introduced me to one in Cleveland. That within a few minutes, I realized I'm not sure I'm that big of a meat guy. Maybe it was just that particular experience.
It could have been. But there was a thread last week on Cruise Critic about the salad bar on Moderno, because traditionally people rave about the salad bar, and the question was, why is it that big of a deal? And it was sort of debated as to whether or not. But regardless,
I think that salad bar is the wrong way to label
it. Agree from what I've seen it. But I'm looking forward to trying something new. We've been stuck in the same rut for the same restaurants on Norwegian Cruise Lines. It's going to be fun to try something new. Beyond Moderno, we do not have anything tomorrow until the Cruise Critic meet and greet, 11 o'clock.
Which I have no plans of speaking on.
I'm hoping we don't speak on the smaller ships. We were on the Escape in January.
You're hosting this thing. You have to get up and address the group.
On the Escape in January, totally unexpected, the room was quiet. Everybody was sitting off by themselves at tables. and then somebody pulled out a microphone, the person that put it together,
Right.
and went into a spiel. And then the most terrifying thing ever, they turned and started to walk to you so you could take the microphone, each person that was there.
I hate
and the whole
that.
time for the next 15 minutes while they were circling the room, I'm like, Sue, you got to do it. Sue, you got to do it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this.
Can we promise?
And
You're not going to make people do that.
I don't think it's going to happen. We only have 50 people.
Okay.
But it came to me, Doug and Sue from Rochester, good to be here. And that was it. That's the extent of our...
You know what's funny? I don't typically dislike public speaking, but I'm just adverse to it right now. I'm just not feeling it.
I can get in the mood. It just takes a few, and typically it's not there at 11 o'clock in the morning.
No.
If we did meet and greets at 11 o'clock at night, it would be a totally different experience.
Completely. I'd get up and sing to the crowd.
We might have to think about that. The fact that we're not until 11 o'clock tomorrow, that's essentially, it's a sea day tomorrow. We're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah, tonight will be fun. Our first night on vacation. Well, I mean on the ship vacation.
So looking forward to it. Each day we're going to drop just one video a day. A little introduction video just to talk about what we're going to do for the day ahead. Any thoughts going back to the Dawn?
I think it'll be interesting to see the smaller ship. And it's smaller is very relative, right? Because it's not a small ship. What's the capacity? The passenger's capacity is
I don't know.
2,500 or something?
Just over half the Escape?
Yeah, so I mean, my point being that we have been used to getting on the larger ships as of late, and so I'm interested to see what my response will be to this smaller in relation to the Escape.
You know what's fascinating? First of all, we're going to find our old... We were in an inside stateroom last time, so going from an inside stateroom to a suite up on deck 12, and we loved our inside stateroom. I was so impressed by the efficiency of it. Mm-hmm. I actually talked about I want to come home and gut my house and make it all inside staterooms because they were so efficient. So my small house would end up having 12 inside staterooms, and it was ridiculous.
It would be so stupid.
Where was I going with that? Inside
I don't know, but I have to say.
Oh, I found my invoice from our last cruise.
Right.
We were talking about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up having an onboard account of just under $1,000 when we got off.
Because that was all.
And it was drink after drink after drink after drink.
It was all you, really.
And obviously we had a great deal. We got on 2 days before.
$299 for a week to Bermuda.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
But I'm expecting we have the 4-day specialty dining. We have the UBP. Pretty much everything's paid in advance. Mm-hmm. I'm not expecting much of an onboard account.
No, we shouldn't. But shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something that was kind of important to me.
Important to you, but not to us.
I guess.
All right, well, it's day one. Return. Doug, Sue, going back to the Norwegian Dawn. Thanks for joining us. Let's go have some fun. Let's go get on board the ship. You ready? It's a different cruise line. What's the NCL theme?
Are you talking about...
They got rid of the one and they went to Pitbull. What was the one?
I don't know.
Shoot. Let's go do that one.
I don't know that
I'm sorry
song.
for singing. It won't happen again. Let's go have some fun. Get on board.